Welcome to Salam Media Highlights, where we delve into deep into the stories that are shaping our world. And today we explore the often volatile intersection of sports and politics, with the focus being on last night's clash in Amsterdam, where Israeli football fans and pro-Palestinian activists confronted each other in a series of confrontations. And what began as a Europa League match between Maccabi Tel Aviv and Ajax Amsterdam quickly escalated into a powerful statement. This is on the ongoing genocide that is inflicted on the people of Palestine by the Israeli occupying forces. And as fans of the Israeli team reportedly were the ones that instigated violence against the Palestinian supporters, and with injuries, arrests, and international outrage mounting, this incident underscores the intense emotions tied to national identity and political struggle that sports can so vividly amplify. And joining us in a bit is Marieke. She's an Amsterdam-based pro-Palestine activist who will give us insight into what happened on the ground, and also we'll chat a bit deeper on socio-political tensions that fuel these kind of clashes. Marieke, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media. Really appreciate you giving us your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think first and foremost, our point of departure can be maybe you just describing the atmosphere in Amsterdam leading up to last night's match. Was there an indication that tensions would escalate to the level that we've seen them to have gone?
Yes, there were very clear indications, and it's really we think it's really bizarre that the mayor and authorities allowed this match to take place in the first place. We already announced a protest against this decision on Monday, where we stated that we wanted to make a statement in front of the football stadium. There's a lot of people that were very concerned about this team being in Amsterdam, also with the reputation that they have of violence and hooliganism and their connections to the Israeli army. And there was also, there were concerns, and a lot of people were very, very frustrated that they were allowed to come to our city.
And we've heard reports that the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans were tearing down Palestinian flags and chanting some really provocative slogans. From your perspective, how did this escalate into what ultimately became, I think, a citywide clash, essentially?
Well, I think it was already enough that they were here. So, like in the context of a genocide that has been going on longer for 1 year now, that they could just come here and enjoy a football match, that was just mind-blowing. And then on top of that, their behavior in the center, which started, like you said, with tearing down a Palestine flag and attacking a house, the house where the flag was, and
And from what you might have observed, how did the Amsterdam police handle the situation? Because just reading and just trying to find out what happened, there were some numerous claims that they actually protected the Maccabi fans, which were the instigators of this violence, while not acting, also at the right moments. Would you agree with that? That they were protecting them and just making sure that they're okay instead of looking at the other side?
Well, I wasn't there myself last night, so I've seen some images, but I don't know all the exact examples. But what we have seen, for instance, on the Dam, also they were allowed to take up a lot of place in the Dam Square and chant their their slogans. And there were a few brave pro-Palestine activists who wanted to also make themselves heard, but they were completely outnumbered, of course. And these were arrested while the hooligans just could have their way. And we've seen unfortunately, we've seen that behavior with the police before, that they take a lot of effort also in other protests, protecting far right movements, or instead of the anti-racist activists and pro-Palestine activists.
And just when it comes to the Netherlands itself, which is now seemingly have become so divided on this issue, how is the local pro-Palestine community responding to the government's focus on prosecuting the so-called anti-Semitic attacks, while, as I mentioned again, maybe what the police have done also, ignoring the incitement by the Tel Aviv fans?
Hmm. Could you ask that again, please? So, if how the movement is reacting to the
Yes, yes,
uh,
yes. How
and
the movement itself is reacting to the government's focus, because I've read that the prosecutions, because the Palestinian protesters are now being labeled as anti-Semitics, and that these were anti-Semitic attacks. And how is just general the pro-Palestine community responding to those that have been
yeah,
arrested?
yeah, I think there's two things going on also about you saying about the division within the
Mm,
Netherlands and the reaction of the pro-Palestine activists.
mm,
Uh, Actually, I think a lot of people in the Netherlands, and I heard about numbers that would say sometimes 70%. So a majority of the people in the Netherlands are pro-Palestine or against this genocide going on and having to stop this. But our government right now, which is a far right government, they just ignore that, and they are really pro-Israel. So we are dealing with this situation, and then we are dealing with the media. That is
mm,
also what you say. This today, I think they have been one-sided before, and they have been using language to cover up the genocide and uh, everything. But today it's quite exceptional. They are all massively going into the Zionist narrative that this was anti-Semitic, without saying anything about the the role of the supporters, and what these people actually are doing. And
mm,
because no one was, obviously, we have been very clear on that the whole time. We are not anti-Semitic in any way. So there we wouldn't we don't attack people because they are Jewish. But yeah
mm.
we had this context of the genocide, and then the hooligans, and amongst them actual military people that were actually in the military.
Mm.
But so they completely ignore these facts, and in the media right now.
Mm. What
Yeah.
do you make of the Israeli government coming up with statements that they're sending some flights to come and collect all of the Israelis? They feel like they are not safe in the Netherlands, and they just want to take all their people out in attempts to try and protect them from anti-Semitic attacks and all of that. Again, playing the victim card, which they seemingly always seem to have at the back of their pocket, without just looking at, because I think all of us have seen the videos on social media. It was clear incitement from their side. But
Mhm.
here we go again, the Israeli government playing the victim card and saying, well, let's protect our people. Look what is happening in Amsterdam. They are being victimized and attacked just by simply being Israeli football loving fans.
Yeah. No, they're yeah. Yeah,
it leaves
I
me
just
speechless also
I have
sometimes.
no. I'm starting to get speechless in this,
Yeah.
really,
It,
because
it, it all it always leaves me speechless too, because I think from everyone's perspective you can clearly see, but now the government is, has this always been the case? Like, how are Israelis just treated generally in the city of Amsterdam? Are they, ostracized? Are they victimized? Or situations like this or cases like this are sometimes quite isolated, and most of the time they'll be the ones that are instigators.
Mhm. In recent times or longer time.
In recent times, I think maybe since the 7th of October, probably.
Mm. Yeah, I think Amsterdam is like Amsterdam is a quite diverse city and has also a long history with Jewish communities in the city.
Mm.
And I think they will be sooner more open to Israelis, and then there would be more closed off. I don't
Mm.
know the city itself, but since the 7th of October, I still believe it's just yeah.
Mm.
I think it's everyone can exist in this city, but how you say it, everyone can exist in this city, but there would be, since the 7th of October, people speaking out
Mm.
against the genocide, but they will do that in a, yeah, we have our protest right, we have our freedom of speech, so we will do our marches, we will do our speeches, we will do our actions, but that's not aimed at specific people
Specific groups, yeah.
being in the city in a peaceful manner.
Mm.
Never.
Mm. No, definitely. And just in closing, Marieke, when it comes to activism in Amsterdam, how is it? Is it? I think you touched a bit on it. The fact that you guys can go out to protest and you have the right to protest. But I think we've seen in other countries across the world where protests and marches that are pro-Palestine would be hindered by the government. They would be stopped. Some people would report them as anti-Semitic. In Amsterdam, do you have such instances, or are you able to practice your right to protest with ease?
When it comes to Amsterdam, in comparison to other cities and other countries, there was
Yeah.
quite a big room for our protest right. Not always ideal, and there have been some like really bad incidents, like with the students' protest. And a lot of violence was used against the students, but on the whole it has been quite okay, I think. But now we just heard the news that for this weekend all protests are forbidden
Mm. I think, yeah.
as a consequence of last night.
And I think that's a very subtle way that the government is showing which side is leaning on. But we're going to leave it here for now, Marieke. Thank you so much for giving us your time and giving us some perspective live from Amsterdam, where chaos erupted yesterday. Really appreciate it.
Very welcome. Thank you.
There you go. That was Marieke. She's a pro-Palestine activist, and she's coming to us live from Amsterdam, where, yeah, chaos erupted when Israeli football fans, which I think is quite clear for everyone to see, where I was actually watching the match, and while the match was live, you couldn't actually see what was happening outside. But essentially, what happened, during the match between Ajax Amsterdam and Maccabi Tel Aviv, which is a club from Israel, there was quite a big escalation, which unfortunately turned into violence because the fans of the Israeli team, Maccabi Tel Aviv, reportedly instigated violence against Palestinian supporters, tearing down flags, Palestinian flags, singing derogatory, songs and chanting slogans. And there's been injuries that have been reported and arrests that have been made. The Israeli government came out and said, yeah, we'll be sending, I think they said, two aeroplanes or flights to Amsterdam, to come and rescue, their people, their which is, yeah, well, if you knew what happened, then it would be something that's quite laughable. But what I gather from that, and which I think most of us would enjoy, is the fact that Maccabi Tel Aviv lost 5-0. So I think kudos to that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Salam Media Highlights continues.
We are here in the middle of a Zahra neighborhood. The whole neighborhood is already destroyed. More than 17 towers are down. Here, as you can see, the firefighters trying their best to help. The people are still under the rubble. A lot of the people.
Join Hamza on his exclusive South African tour as he shares his personal experiences, never before seen footage, and powerful insights on the ongoing genocide in Gaza. This is more than just a talk. It's an invitation to witness Gaza through the lens of Hamza Sha'alan. Don't miss this opportunity to meet the photojournalist who brought Gaza's pain and perseverance to the world in its darkest moments. Follow Salam Media on social media pages for more on this tour and be part of the conversation.